Welcome, everybody, to another special edition of Worcester Council Theater 3000. Today's traffic and parking meeting is looks like it's starting now, so we'll pull that up, and we're here to talk about.
Put it on. Colorio's doing a statement.
Statutory speed limit of 25 miles per hour and establishing a safety zones with 20 miles per hour speed limits.
She says she has a speed limit statement.
Council Toomey's item was referred, this is 3A, to this committee. My goal as the chair has been to take as much public input in this process as possible.
Sure.
To date, I have hosted 5 public meetings on this issue, 1 in each district. At the conclusion of the 5 hearings, it was clear more public input was required. Therefore, as chair and with unanimous support of my colleagues of the entire council, our body requested the administration to conduct a survey which lasted from June 1st to June 30th. That survey is now listed on our agenda for the first time as item 3B. In reviewing all public testimony, as well as data and presentations brought forward from the Department of Transportation and Mobility, it is my intent as chair of this committee to recommend to my colleagues on this committee and the entire city council that I support adopting a statutory speed limit of 25 miles per hour and establishing safety zones with 20 miles per hour speed limits.
Wow.
In making this recommendation to the entire city council, I'd like to make it clear my hopes that with the help of the city manager, the Worcester Police Department,
all it took was everyone everywhere yelling at her,
and all other offices associated with road safety, we will be able to move forward as a city with safer streets through lowering speed limits, as well as further expansion of traffic enforcement division within the Worcester Police Department. At this time, I will ask the Department of Transportation. I'm going to take these
items on my end. Chat, let us know.
First one, 3A and 3B. At this time, I'd like the Department of Transportation and Mobility and the Worcester Police Department to present their findings on the survey and the recommendations of these speed limit changes for public awareness on the issues facing our city. Following the presentation, I'll open it up to the public for public testimony. So, Mr. Raleigh, Commissioner Raleigh, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for your comments. This is a matter we've been discussing for a matter of months now, and as you noted, have had quite a bit of public discussion on it, both here in this committee, various meetings that we held in each of the council districts throughout the city, and then lastly, gaining feedback through the online survey that we conducted in the month of June primarily. And, I think the big takeaway that I got in particular out of the survey was that there is, I think, broad recognition and consensus on the fact that speeding and traffic safeties are serious concerns in the city of Worcester, and it's a problem that's been getting worse, and that's borne out by the data as we've talked about at all the meetings. I won't rehash that, but we know that after a brief respite during the COVID pandemic, we've seen crashes, and particularly severe crashes, occurring at higher rates than we ever had before. The last 8 weeks have been a terrible reminder of this, with six people in Worcester being severely injured or fatally injured on our streets. So, the administration strongly supports these 2 measures. We know that it's a starting point. We know that this is one piece of the puzzle, but we think it's an important one, and we think it's a good place to start, and it's one that we're looking forward to moving forward with.
Thank you. Chief, would you like to add some comments or insight?
Yes, through the chair or to the chair. The Worcester Police Department strongly supports this change. We are also going to incorporate several different methods to help with this. Starting within a week, we're going to expand the traffic division by incorporating the motorcycle unit into that overall division. This should allow for increased enforcement in our neighborhoods by using motorcycles with personnel equipped with LiDAR units. I'm looking to expand
those racquetball glasses on the middle cup are fucking badass.
Which will have a huge impact. Not only do I work in the city, but I live here as well. And I see how people drive with total disregard for each other and blatantly disobey traffic laws. Through aggressive enforcement, I hope this will change the mindset of the motoring public. So Worcester Police is totally on board with this.
Thank you, Chief. And one of the things you mentioned that was always brought up at many of the meetings that we held was the enforcement piece of it. So I'm very glad to hear that you'll be putting additional people in that department in order to, try to work on these issues, since we know that we've had, this has been an issue for a while. Okay, I'm going to go to the audience, and anybody want to make a general comment?
Hi, my name is Oliver Chadwick. I'm a Worcester resident. First of all, I would like to very much thank the chair for scheduling this meeting out of order, and for her statement at the beginning saying that she supports the effort. I'm very grateful for that. And I also fully support the change to the speed limit down to 25 miles per hour. As everyone I'm sure knows, we've had a truly horrendous string of incidents over the summer with terrible injuries and with even fatalities of small children, like poor Gianna Rose Simoncini, who was killed on June 27th. As the DTM has said before, speed kills. A pedestrian hit at 20 miles per hour has a 90% chance of survival. And if they're hit at 40 miles per hour, they have a 90% chance of being killed. So for every 5 mile per hour reduction, that's about a 20% improvement to the chance of a pedestrian surviving. And higher speeds not only make the impacts worse when they happen, but they also make the crashes more likely to happen. Drivers' cone of vision is reduced, and they need longer stopping distances at higher speeds. And critically, the evidence is that lowering the speed limit on all does not impact travel times. So this is truly a policy with no downsides. We reduce the dangerous speeding over 35 miles per hour, and there's no impact on folks' travel times. And then also, as a reminder, 79 other communities have done this already, including gateway cities like Springfield, Lowell, Holyoke, and Pittsfield. And critically, because this came up at the last council meeting, no one's arguing this is a panacea. This isn't going to fix the whole situation. There are a great deal of other efforts. I know TTM is fully on board with a whole range of other interventions that are looking at as part of Vision Zero. But this to me seems truly like the lowest hanging fruit. It's going to be very inexpensive. We just need to put signs up at the edge of the city, and we get this.
Camber, I don't know
what we've
about
seen in other cities
one.
as about 30% to 40,
the problem is
50%
it's stuck in
reduction
the state house.
in those danger speeds
So-
over 35 miles per hour, which are most likely to kill pedestrians if and when they do get hit. I would like again to thank you for your comments earlier, and I look forward to
I'm pretty
this
shocked Colorio had
passing
a
out of
180
this
on this
committee
one.
and the whole council, hopefully
I
unanimously.
mean,
support
where
it. Thank you very much.
did she have to go
Thank
on
you. Next.
Like,
I mean, she was against it
right.
pretty much
State your
up
name
until the
and city
last meeting.
residence,
Where
please.
she,
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Nellie Medina. I'm in District
Nellie.
5. Atal Hajayi is my city councilor. So I'm here tonight to support lowering the speed limit on public streets to 25 miles an hour. Walking in a crosswalk in the morning during rush hour is like playing Russian roulette. Often my son and I cross the street away from the crosswalk because crossing at intersections makes us feel like easy targets for fast-moving vehicles running red lights.
Well, whoever it was that did get to her,
Crosswalks are the
I
most
explained to her
dangerous
that she was being a
places
silly
to
person,
cross the
needs
roads.
to share their secret.
Drivers must be
so
the
we can
only
replicate
ones.
efforts.
I
Drivers
know.
must not be the only ones to
Right.
change their behavior. We as a community must recognize the importance of crosswalk safety and the benefits of reducing speed and take responsibility for our actions.
I think there
Yesterday,
can't be
my
enough
son
people
and I,
that would
along with
be
an
on
older
her
man,
side.
experienced a
Make it worth her
harrowing
while.
situation at the
It
intersection
was
of
really,
Park Ave
having been to
and
some of those
Beaver Street.
neighborhood meetings, it
As the
really
red
was
lights
just
flashed
the crankiest
and the
of the
car's
cranks.
signal
Like,
appeared,
it was the
cars,
cranks that
including
even
a
make
Worcester
most
public
cranks
school
uncomfortable.
bus,
Right.
attempted to make it past the red light and crosswalk ahead of us. This was not just a near miss, but a stark reminder of the daily dangers we face on our streets. My son, who is on the autism spectrum, has sensory sensitivity and frozen fear. I worried for him and the senior because we ran out of time at the crosswalk. Green means go, and drivers do not care about pedestrians. The thought of cars brushing in front and back and in front and in back of us at top speed is terrifying. You must be an experienced at crossing roads to prevent getting hit by a car when everything moves so quickly. I talk to elderly pedestrians in my community who have problems at crosswalks, including difficulties judging the speed of oncoming vehicles, dealing with discourteous drivers, turning vehicles, and pedestrian signal indicators disappearing too fast. The light was green again before many of them made it across the street. My uncle Felix is blind, and I worry about his safety crossing roads in the city of,
I
in
just got
his
an
community
interesting
in the
tip that
city
there might be
of
a
Maine South,
curveball
where he calls home.
here.
Why is
Oh,
it that the
wow.
only time we have police monitoring
Is that going
traffic
to
is
be
on
Christian
paid
King voting
detail?
against it?
Aren't vehicles
How'd you
running,
know?
aren't vehicles and
A
running
famous
stop
theory that he's
signs in
turned into
school
a
zones the
fucking
definition
asshole
of
in the last
protect and serve?
4 months.
Yeah.
Assign police to prevent
I
the
spent
crime
all
of
of
death
last
by
week
fast-moving vehicles
walking
at
around
crossroads,
Montreal at all
intersections,
hours of the day and night, and I had
government,
exactly
and
one
lower the
run-in
speed
with a
limit
car
of
that I thought was trying to
25
kill
on
me,
public roads
and
and
of course it
streets.
had fucking New
As
Jersey
an
plates.
activist, I have a lot of trust
Middle
for
of Quebec,
people in my
but it's like
community.
it
And the
really is
cops,
like
I
we're getting
feel
to the
bad
point where
for the
Americans just need to have
crossing
everything
guards
taken away from them
because they
and
have to
start
risk
over again.
everything. One
Like,
of them at the
make it
corner
clear,
of
like we're not taking away your
Heber
rights. It's just
and
we need a
Park Ave
timeout
said
on
that
everything.
he's scared, he's terrified, but what he does is he waits till a car stops completely before he steps in front of it. We shouldn't have to worry about walking the street. We want to exercise, we want to live good lives, we want to be safe. And right now, the way the streets are, it's untenable. Thank
I
you.
mean, like a
Thank you.
normal city council
Next
could have had this
person.
25-mile-per-hour thing passed in January. It was filed in December.
Right.
As part of an overall.
Hi, my name is
plan
Jacob
of council
Seidel.
government.
I live on Grafton Hill.
So Donna Colorio, it's like not
I'm here because I
abstract or
really
dramatic
believe
to
in
say that she has
Worcester.
blood.
I mean, I live here on purpose. You know, I don't have to. And I want
You
Worcester
live
to
here
be a
on
lot
purpose.
better than it is. We have a terrible reputation for safety on our streets. I mean, we've been reported on as being one of the most dangerous places to drive in the country, multiple times, actually. And we all know why, because people die here. It's very unfortunate and it can change. And I really, really appreciate you. And I'd like to thank you for doing something to make that change. The city has been doing a lot, you know, saying a lot about how we're going to make those changes with the Vision Zero project and the Now Next project and the Mobility Action Plan. And I think we can follow through on it. And I'm so glad to hear that you're in support of lowering speed limits, because in order to achieve our potential as a city, I feel very strongly that people need to feel safe on our streets. I mean, for local businesses to thrive and for people to want to stay here,
Subline.
people
I
to
don't
want to
have
raise
to.
their children here, the streets have to be safe. You have to be able to walk through the city to do the things that you need to do on a
Killing
daily
it.
basis
Killing the
and
game.
feel like you're not in danger, you know. And a huge part of that obviously is if you have vehicles speeding past you in what is supposed to be a 30 or 35-mile-an-hour zone and they're doing 40, 45, 50. I mean, we've all seen it. People are not they're not going to want to go outside, and they're not going to want to go outside of a car, especially. And I think that in order to be a healthy and prosperous and socially vibrant city, a place where people really want to live, we need to take steps to do what we need to do and to make our streets safe. And I'm just, again, very, very grateful to you for voting to reduce speed limits. And I hope that the city council will support it unanimously. And I'm really looking forward to seeing future steps taken in that direction, particularly in the areas of
The guy
engineering.
with the stash and
You
the
know,
feathered hair.
the fact of the matter is, if someone wants to speed through a red light, they're probably
he
going
has
to
such a
do
sick
it.
look.
But if
He's
there's
behind
a
Oliver.
barrier, you know, if we have bump outs in the crosswalks and people are afraid of wrecking their car,
Such a
you know,
sick look.
more so than they are, unfortunately, with hitting somebody who's crossing the street, I think that would be a very big difference as well. So I look forward to seeing those plans come to fruition. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Manolo, and the cars drive too fast. Please lower the speed limits to 25 because every day when I walk to school, I don't feel safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like I should be using the shorter one too. Karen Valentine Goins, resident of Worcester and leader of Walk Bike
Fox
Worcester.
25 have
And,
a mic set up
I
there?
am going to say I'm modifying what
Yes,
I
they
had
do.
prepared as far as remarks.
That's crazy. Good
just
catch. I didn't notice that.
I'm feeling very heartened at the intention to recommend that the two speed limit related proposals be approved by City Council. That is what I'm here to support. Have done it through the district meetings, public survey, and the council meeting last week. I just wanted to sort of remind folks of that speed and safety just cannot coexist. And that was something that the project manager for the Kelly Square redesign said over and over. He was a very personable guy and maybe said it a little more personably than I do, but that those two things just don't go. And people really heard that and they respected that in that redesign process. And also want to reiterate what was said about the fact that nobody, despite what was said last week, thinks that these speed limit proposals alone, the speed limit policies alone, are going to solve this problem. But it is a proven, I mean, I'm so glad to hear that people are embracing the evidence that this works. It has worked elsewhere. It can work here. We are not some awful exception in that way. And that the council is looking at it as perhaps one speed management tool that is actually within their purview, because most of them will be under DTMs and then PDs as well. And that it really can, with a low financial burden, foster culture change that contributes in some of a cycle to improving street safety, and along with the more costly infrastructure changes that it will take as well. And just wanted to remind people that when we lower the speeds on the streets, it literally saves life and limb, but it also just creates a better space that has many amazing benefits, including just neighbor to neighbor interactions. I mean, it's quieter and doesn't smell as much, but it also, there's evidence on increased economic development, all kinds of social good. And so I just want to leave by, I too was going to call on the sort of the idea of a family that was going to move here, that potentially, was looking at a very long delayed process to pass this speed limit proposals. And would they make a decision to move here if we didn't take on something like this? And I think they would be more likely to with a step like this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Greg Dorschler, Worcester resident, speaking on item 3A. So one thing I remember having been taught way back in high school driver education is that driving is a privilege, and that with that privilege comes responsibility, that we all share the responsibility for road safety, for keeping ourselves safe, for keeping each other safe. Our current road safety and traffic violence crisis seemingly stems from that lesson having fallen by the wayside. So many drivers driving distracted, impaired, recklessly, aggressively, fatigued, not well trained. And so putting us all at risk, and especially the most vulnerable users of the road. The other thing that I remember having been taught in high school driver ed many years ago was that accidents have multiple contributing factors, and that in most cases, most accidents could be prevented by eliminating one of those factors. Speed is such a factor. Even if speed is not the main cause of an accident, lowering speed limits gives more time for corrective action, and undeniably, any collisions that do occur would be less severe at lower speeds. So for these reasons, I support the proposed 25-mile-per-hour citywide speed limit as part of a greater initiative encompassing public awareness and education, enforcement, improved roadway design, and the like. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Trainer, if he walked in the light of the Lord instead of on the left-hand path of darkness.
David Webb, City of Worcester.
Mike Trainer, Mike Master.
This problem is an easily predictable result of advertising our city to outside people instead of improving our dilapidated infrastructure. We have grown exponentially in the past few years, but we still have the same problems we have for decades. And of course, they're getting worse. This is not, and no one other than Councillor Russell has suggested that this is a single fix. 25 miles per hour is a Band-Aid, a very much needed and very long overdue Band-Aid. I'm not going to be as gracious or appreciative for calling this meeting. We could have done this in January. If enforcement solved this issue, we wouldn't have had as many accidents as we have the last few years. So vehemently no, on the record, to aggressive enforcement as described by our interim chief saucier. We should have been prioritizing the WRTA. Our buses already have the technology to get right of way like emergency vehicles. We could have a flow of traffic determined by public transportation, which would be a way to say the city prioritizes public transportation. It would be life-changing for many people and get many more
No,
people
I
to
just
use it and
noticed
increase the
Will Claw
culture
back there.
around being a public commuter instead of being a driver
Get him
trying
on
to
the
get
mic.
places as quickly as possible. We could have later hours and more frequency. We could commit to keeping it fare free. I'm a walker. I do own a vehicle, but I catch the bus when it's too cold, hot, or wet. But I walk most places, and I walked here today. Like other people have mentioned, we could be talking about barriers and bump outs. We need progress, which looks like intelligent design, but unfortunately, we are held back by counselors on committees asserting how long they've been there rather than listening to the experts. I'm glad we have the support of the GTM. I just really hope the council is able to, in an unhindered manner, Councilor Colorio, Councilor Bergman, to enact safety measures like this. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, everyone. My name is Tim O'Neill, and I live at 21 Edlin Street in District 5. I also work in Worcester as the Director of Development at African Community Education, or ACE, the nonprofit where IUN Leet, who is a student, was struck by a speeding vehicle on Shrewsbury Street at the end of July. Thankfully, we recently got the news that IUN has come out of her month-long coma and is communicating with her family. But all signs point to that was a very low likely outcome in this case, and she is in fact lucky to be alive. I'd like to point out to this issue as being one of racial equity. At ACE, we work with over 400 immigrant families in this city, and very, very few of them own a personal vehicle and drive. Our newest arrivals to the city, our new neighbors are the ones who are walking our streets. They are walking to work. They are walking to bus stops, and we have not done our jobs to keep them safe. While I am happy that it seems that this proposal is finally on its way to passing, I'm thoroughly disappointed by how long it has taken. And it is my hope and urge that this committee and the city council as a whole take swift action to make long overdue changes to our city's infrastructure to help protect our city's pedestrians and most vulnerable residents. Thank you.
Donna, stop saying thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Renato. I live in Worcester. Just moved to Grafton Hill, so I'm not sure what my district is yet. I'm here as to sort of offer my perspective as someone who survived being hit by a motor vehicle. In 2018, I was working as a firefighter in Onset, Massachusetts, on Cranberry Highway. We're closing down which is a 4-lane road that goes through Wareham, Massachusetts. We were closing down that road when I was struck by a motor vehicle driving at 40 miles per hour. Everything after that and before as well was relayed to me after the fact, so I don't remember anything that happened on that day. I did not start forming memories again until several days later in the hospital. But what I was told was that I flew several tens of feet through the air and had to be resuscitated on scene before I was brought to Rhode Island Hospital. So I think that this is a start. I think that it's good that you're making this start, but this cannot be the end of it. I have a significant amount of hardware in my body from this strike. I suffer from a TBI. I have post-traumatic stress disorder following the hit. I am frankly lucky to be here standing before you today. So to lower speed limits to 25 is, as everyone here said and everyone agrees, is a great start. However, that still does leave at least one person
will be fatally killed by a motor vehicle, statistically speaking. And all these others who will probably suffer injuries very similar to mine, should they be as lucky as me. So the lower speed limits are a start. It can't be the end. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Everett Beals. I live in Worcester in Maine South. I'm a student. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. As everyone else has said, and I think illustrated through their testimony, what Worcester's dealing with, what our nation is dealing with, is very much a public health crisis.
Oh, I talked to this
And
kid's
we're dealing
class
with
in
this as a
Clark.
spate of
He was the editor
preventable
of the
injuries and
Scarlet.
deaths, and especially in Worcester, as we've seen really graphically, it's been a very serious issue. So again, I'm glad to hear that this committee, or Councilor Colorio, that you're looking forward to advancing this, and I urge you to do that and bring that to the council. And I hope that this can open the door to more improvements, as DTM has been working hard to do in our built environment, and opens the door to more steps that are taken much more swiftly to help make Worcester a safer city, and to alleviate this serious public health crisis that is disproportionately affecting a lot of people in our city. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, come on up.
Thank you, David, for telling me about this. I live on the east side off of
Could you
Shrewsbury
just,
Street.
could you just state your name? Not everybody
Oh,
knows.
My name's Wahaya. I'm from Nipmuc Territory.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, I live off of Shrewsbury Street, you know, where all that stuff is happening, and it's getting bad over there on that street. And I actually have a dislocated leg, broke it twice because a car wanted to splash me, so I fell in the mud puddle. This has taken so much away from me. I do outreach. I'm out there all the time with the homeless. They're talking to me about the same stuff. I cannot even do anything that I used to be before. And this is because of the cars. They don't care. They don't care. So this should have been done a long time ago. When I leave my house and it's off of Belmont between Shrewsbury, there's no crosswalk to my bus. So I almost get hit every day because this buckles. It's never going to be fixed. It's dislocated because of a vehicle. And my grandson just aged out, right? Just aged out at DCF. Now I got to worry about him. So this needs to be done. And I'm so surprised it's just now happening.
Such a sick
So
shirt.
it needs to be done.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Donna.
Wolf Paw, the absolute best.
So can we go on, see if anybody is virtual? AJ, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sure thing. The first person I can identify is Natalie. Just sent a request for Natalie to unmute. If you could just please provide your full name, city, your town, or residence, and begin your testimony.
Hi, my name is Natalie Gibson. I live over on 4th Street in District 5. Thank you for having this meeting. First, I would actually like to begin by using part of my minutes for a 20-second moment of silence for all of the victims who've unfortunately passed away from traffic violence. It is not enough time, but I would like to be able to get what I have to say in. So I'm going to start it now. Okay, thank you. So
Natalie
I'm
timed it. I
currently
love that.
on
That
vacation,
is-
and just before this meeting,
That was pretty
while
sick.
I was
So
driving to explore my area, I had the realization that there are just too many different statutory speed limits on some roads. I am
We
here in
should file that
Massachusetts,
one away.
by
That
the
would be a
way.
lot of fun some night.
As
You know,
I
like a
am
really contentious
in
night, but
an
like a not
unfamiliar
really long meeting,
area,
get like a
I
couple
have
hundred
had
people
to
lined
not
up
only
and
pay
just 2
attention to
moments of
those
silence
statutory
for 2
speed
minutes.
limit signs, but also check my speedometer, check my GPS
If you're
to
a city
make
councilor,
sure
you can do a
that
full
I'm
John
still on
Kale.
course,
You can do
and
4
even
minutes and
check
33 seconds of silence.
how
Right.
much it's recording me driving versus my speedometer, because there actually is a difference. Not to mention checking the street signs, building signs, checking for pedestrians that might be near the road to anticipate what they're going to be doing, the oncoming vehicles, the vehicles that are behind me to make sure that they are going to stop when I have stopped. So that's just a lot of, that's just way too many incidences with our eyes wandering to different areas, and that's while driving. Also, today's vehicles compared to yesteryear's drive much smoother, and a light touch of the gas pedal can have you cruising well past any legal speed limit. So what should we do? I think that we should lower the speed limit to give time to multitask within the vehicle and whatever is outside of the vehicle, reduce the injury or death to micromobility users, continue road diets, education to all, including micromobilities. And I say all because we have to also include pedestrians, people on bikes, people on scooters, people on skateboards. They too
system,
need
but
to
yeah,
know what they are responsible for
every day
when they are
you
using
see
the
it
road.
or experience it.
Let's see, enforcement. I think we should increase ticket fees to deter multiple offenders, because if your average speeding ticket is only, $50, $100, people are going to continue to do it. Improve lighting at night in certain areas, and please stop encouraging mixed-use developments of renters or homeowners with businesses, so that those not in the vehicles aren't placed at a greater risk. And I really do hope that today this is passed, because if it's not, I would just ask that City Council and the mayor and the city manager, please discontinue your Vision Zero campaign, because if we're not doing this, then what's the point? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Eric Stratton. I just sent a request for Eric to unmute now.
Okay, thank you.
Eric.
Hello, thank you. Eric Stratton, City of Worcester. I'm in District 1. I am calling in support of both of these agenda items. As others have said, speed
What a gentleman
kills.
in that picture, huh?
It's really unfortunate that it has taken so long to get this moved forward, and frankly, somewhat disheartening. While I think it's helpful and certainly reasonable to ask for data, I do think that asking for public input on certain items, it really, especially those that affect public safety, is somewhat concerning, because this creates unnecessary delays that allows for additional harms to occur. Doing the popular thing is not always right, and doing the right thing isn't always popular. I believe, as Einstein said, it is really essential that we pass this. And again, this is one part of the puzzle. It's one step, lowering the speed limit. We need to design our infrastructure to promote people being able to use other forms of transportation, bikes, scooters, sidewalks, mass transit. We need to redesign our roadways. And I think our DPW and our traffic department have really been doing a great job in redesigning these spaces as they go, adding bump outs, better lit pedestrian crossings, and yes, enforcement as well. However, again, these are just pieces of the puzzle. It would be really important, I think, to see the city council and these committees meeting more frequently to address these issues in a timely manner. Again, I think that delaying these items is costing lives. Just during our city council meeting last week, I believe another person was struck, and it's really unnerving to see this. I walked with my children yesterday through my neighborhood.
It's
and
incredible.
Even there, cars are speeding while children are playing in the streets. People are playing basketball in a residential neighborhood. I'm walking with a stroller and a kid on a scooter. We need to make sure that our cities are designed for the residents, not for cars. Cities are for people. And we need to really revisit how our
This
cities
isn't Radiator
do this.
Springs,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you. See, Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Robert Bellotta. Just sent a request to unmute now.
Hi, thank you. My name is Robert Bellotta. I live in Worcester, District 2. I just wanted to express, appreciation that this is, finally going to be moved forward and supported going to council. But just, I feel like it's important to just point out that there has been a lot of frustration from the community that this issue has taken this long to move forward, and that there were these community meetings and there's a lot of good input gathered. I remember going to the community meeting for District 2 back in January. So just want to express, I think it's great that these things are moving forward, but it's important that we as a community, our elected officials move quicker on things, especially when we continue to see glaring examples of the issue happen throughout the summer. So again, just really supportive of this. It's going to help. No one is suggesting that this is going to be the cure-all for traffic violence in the city, but lowering the speed limit, improving is just one of the tools, in the toolbox to create safer streets, to help slow people down, and especially create safer streets for vulnerable road users like myself, like wheelchair users, individuals who are visually impaired. We need to do better when it comes to creating safer streets, and this is really going to do that. But I think it's important to move faster when we see this issue continue to happen again and again. But I'm glad to see it moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next person I can identify is Mike Hawk. I will unmute Mike now.
No, I can't believe AJ.
Mike who?
Mike?
He said Mike Hawk.
Madam Chair, Mike is not answering. The next person I can identify is Alex Salcedo.
Because
Thank
he's
you,
a
AJ.
wiener. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My
He
name is
cannot
Alice
speak. He's a
Salcedo,
wiener.
and I work for the Massachusetts Bicycle Coalition, which is a nonprofit that advocates for safe cycling in Massachusetts. However, today the only thing that I have is that
People
I
before
want
highway.
to say that I
Boston
applaud
activists,
that
urban planners, and
seems
a
that
new
we're going to
movement
move
for city
forward
making.
with lowering the speed limit to 25 miles per hour, and that gives me a lot of hope.
Trenchant.
But I'm here today to bring two testimonials from two of the program participants. Mass Bike has been doing an e-bike program since April of 2022, and we've distributed approximately 130 e-bikes. One of the things that scares me the most is to open my inbox and see if, or find out if any of the participants have had an accident. So these testimonials that I'm bringing today are from two of the program participants. One knows somebody who had an accident, and the other one had an accident on his bike yesterday. So I'm gonna mention the first one. Her name is Bierina Grover. Bierina asked me to bring her testimony to this committee. And it says, my neighbor was hit by a car on August 11th on Greenwood Street. She's on the brink of death, and her family has cleaned out her apartment. Not only is the speed a factor, but also cars speeding through red lights while people are walking in the crosswalk. I have begun to expect that, and I will not walk when it says walk. I wait for the cars to speed through the red light. The second testimony is from a participant who joined the program and he's extremely excited to finally have his own mobility, reliable way of transporting. He doesn't have a car, so he now he was thrilled to be able to own his own bike and be able to use it as his main way of transportation. So his name is John Hamilton. He's from Worcester, and here's his testimony. I was hit by a car yesterday, which is Tuesday, September 3rd. I was hit by a car yesterday while riding my bike at the intersection of Hamilton Street and Commonwealth Avenue. I experienced what is known as a right hook. This is a dangerous cycling maneuver that occurs when a car turns right into the path of a cyclist who is going straight. This type of crash is especially dangerous because the cyclist has no warning that the car is turning and is usually unable to avoid the collision. My bike is damaged and cannot be ridden. I have abrasions on my legs and I'm still shaking up. Thank you very much for this opportunity to bring these testimonials to all of you.
Thank you.
Let's see, the last person with their hand raised right now is Nicole. I just sent a request for Nicole to unmute, and if any other folks want to speak, I just ask that you use the raise hand function, which is in the bottom center of the Zoom app.
Mike Hawk.
Hi, my name is Nicole Belanger and I live in the West Hatnick neighborhood. I'm really thankful to hear that the subcommittee is putting forward the recommendation that the city adopt the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit across the city. I urge you, our city councilors, to do all you can to encourage your colleagues to support this without any changes or amendments. I think someone's comment earlier about the confusion and multiple speed limits and things like that. To have a cohesive limit across the city would be very beneficial to public safety. And we do have a lot of people coming to visit drop their college students off. We have people, we're a very active city, and that's a beautiful thing. And to make that safe for both the residents and our visitors, I think would be very smart and very beneficial and very doable, honestly. I would also like to suggest that we are very intentional in the implementation of this, should it hopefully be put forward as a recommendation by vote next week by the city council. I know that there are a lot of people coming and going from the city, as I mentioned, and to make that something that's to fund something, honestly, I know that there are a lot of these things that are put forward, but there's necessarily a mechanism for making sure that the public is aware of them. I'd like to make sure that that's an important piece. I do recognize that's an important piece of this effort. And I also, have spoken before and, really know that there are a lot of very vulnerable road users and a lot of people who have unnecessarily been killed or injured, including neighbors of mine who I know personally, and feel for them every day when I, see their mom, see their neighbor, see their family members. It's very heartbreaking and doesn't need to happen. And I'm really hopeful that this will be a very strong step in that direction. And I encourage you to please do what you can to encourage your colleagues to vote for this as well. Thank you.
Are we all set, AJ?
Madam Chair, that is the end of folks who have their hand raised. Yes.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the two items and then I'll open it up to my colleagues for any comments or questions to the administration or to WPD. So
Yeah,
3A is transmitting information
really
communication
anticipating
relative
what
to
Christian's
adopting
gonna
a
say.
statutory speed limit of
Cannot
25
wait.
miles per hour in establishment of safety zones with 20 miles per hour speed limits.
It would be so
And-
stupid if he does what he might do.
3B is transmitting informational communication relative to a survey of public opinion on speed limit reduction proposals. So I'll go to either of my colleagues who would like to start.
Sure, I'll go.
Okay, Councilor King and then followed by Councilor Nguyen.
There we go.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I just want to begin with a few comments and questions. One is if through the chair, someone could speak to the phasing in of a 25-mile-per-hour zone change in the city. I know that if anything we've learned from some of the work that's been done is that implementation and rollout is so important, as many folks have mentioned this evening. I know that part of this will require us to work with state and also that, working with the police department and Department of Transition and Mobility, DPW, et cetera, around signage and transitioning things on. So if someone could speak to the phasing in addition to that phasing in, I know that law enforcement tonight mentioned aggressive enforcement. and things of that nature. And I particularly would like to see a phasing in on all levels. And so what would that look like for us here in the city of Worcester in terms of engineering, implementation, enforcement, and education through the chair?
To Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah,
Would you
Madam
like to
Chair,
address that?
I'd be happy to start on the response, and then certainly if the chief has anything he'd like to add, turn it over to him. Phasing is certainly important on something like this. It applies on a large scale on a citywide basis. So the way that this would work is that signage throughout the city would have to be updated before this could become effective. And one of the interesting things about accepting the provision to apply a 25-mile-per-hour statutory speed limit is it enables us to use a different type of signage than we currently use, which I think is a important and effective tool at communicating to the public what the statutory speed limit is. And that is that every entry point to the city is signed with a sign that communicates to the driver that in absence of a posted speed limit, the applicable speed limit is 25 miles per hour citywide in a thickly settled or business district. So those are posted on every road as they enter the city, as well as all of the highway off ramps. So for example, if you're on I-290 and you get off on one of the off ramps downtown, you'll get to the end of that ramp and you'll see that sign that reminds you in Worcester, the statutory speed limit is 25 miles per hour citywide. So that in and of itself is something we don't have currently. We don't have information as you cross into the boundary of Worcester on a consistent basis says, hey, there's a 30-mile-an-hour statutory speed limit, but we will have that under the 25-mile-an-hour statutory speed limit. The other piece of this is going throughout the city and evaluating all of the existing signage that is associated with a thickly settled sign. So you'll notice that when you see a thickly settled sign, there's often a plaque with that has a 30-mile-per-hour designation underneath that. Those all need to get updated to 25 miles per hour. They'll be assessed for whether it makes sense to actually continue them at that location, as well as our additional signs
Madam
needed
Chair would be a
on
good
corridors to
name for
remind
like a
people,
BDSM.
in places where we know there's been a history of speeding, or if that information has
Professional wrestler too.
communicated to the driver in
Ooh,
sometime
yeah.
in that corridor. So that process all needs to take place. In addition to that, of course, we need to have a public education campaign. So through social media, through the city's website. I've been particularly impressed with the city of Lowell, who just recently adopted the 25-mile-per-hour citywide statutory speed limit. And they've done a great job on their social media and website. I think provide a good template for us. One of the neat things they have actually is that you can imagine with the hundreds of signs we have around town, we're probably going to miss a 30-mile-per-hour sign somewhere, right? So Lowell has taken upon themselves to make it easy for people to report that. If you're driving around town and there's a 30-mile-per-hour thickly settled sign that everyone forgot about, you can notify the city so that gets addressed. And then I'll let the chief speak to enforcement, but typically what happens is once the signage is in place and a public information campaign has been rolled out, then there's a grace period where police departments usually will issue warnings and try to educate the public for some period of time before they start aggressively enforcing the new speed limits. But I defer to the chief in terms of how they would want to handle that.
Thank you.
Through the chair to the council. That's correct. So June 21st, our class graduated. They're wrapping up field training now. And as of September 15th, I'm going to be moving the motorcycle unit that was around the common to the traffic division. Those officers are going to receive additional LiDAR training, refresher training, and then they're going to be deployed to enforce the current speed limits.
I got pulled over
as
on
the
car
commissioner said,
for my
once the
registration.
rollout happens and the new
Because I
speed
didn't have the
limits are
sticker
in place,
that reflected
then
my
we can go
updated
about doing
registration.
a
And then right after I
warning
got pulled over, they
campaign
pulled over
as
somebody
we
else.
did with
I was like,
distracted
I've never
driving.
seen anybody get
So
pulled over.
we'll roll it out together
Years.
with.
And I got pulled over
the
for my
commissioner.
sticker,
That way
my
everybody's on the
registration,
same
the little
page.
sticker on the
We'll
back.
utilize all our social media as well
I didn't
Make
get
sure
a
the
ticket
word
or
is out.
something, but it was still like, what the fuck?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am very glad for that delineation and clarification on all of this. And the other thing I wanted to ask the chair, it indicates here that once this is done, the city
No, it
may
wasn't dirty driving. It
place
was
thickly
just,
settled 25
I
mile
didn't
per hour
forgot to put the
signs
sticker on the back.
at select locations within thickly settled districts. What's the timeline for determining, when
I
and
was
where
like,
that
please don't know
happens?
who
And
I
do you
am. Please don't
have
know who I am.
a
Please don't know.
template or an
And they
idea of
didn't. It was great.
timeline for
Great.
each phasing of this, or is that
Oh,
something
they don't live in Worcester,
that
so
Yeah,
hasn't
right.
quite rolled out? I'm sure we're not reinventing the wheel
My
here,
inspection
but,
sticker was out of
through the
date
chair
too.
to
So
the
I could have got a ticket for that.
city.
Yeah, through the chair to the counselor. So our intent would be
For the Jedi mind
the
trick.
initial signing would be at the perimeter and the
I'll
entry
put a
points
leaf in
as I
front of it.
described. So those would be new signs and then converting all of the existing signs. And at that point, that's our starting point, I think. And then as we go along and we see that we're having speeding problems in certain locations, the police department will be able to provide feedback in terms of where they're still seeing issues. We can then go back and consider adding supplemental signs at those locations.
Send it over
We
to me.
currently get through the Traffic and Parking Committee requests for
I'll put it
additional
on my
thickly
little
settled
list.
signs. So I anticipate it would be no different under this, where residents have the opportunity also to petition the council requesting those.
oh, this
Thank
is
you, Madam Chair.
completely off
Another
topic,
question I
but
had with regard to
Jamie Loftus,
police responsiveness and
wrote
enforcement.
the book Raw Dog
Um,
about the history of hot dogs.
Some of the folks mentioned
She's
it today about
doing a podcast
visibility,
about like internet
of
main
folks, and I
characters.
know we have
And
a finite
this is
number of folks in the
episodes from a few
traffic
months ago, but
division.
she was trying to
You
find the
mentioned there's some
identity of
training that
the Boston Slide Cop,
motorcycle users will
and
motorcycle
I
unit will
think
have
that
to
might be
do.
something worth helping with
For
on the
our
FOIA
regular
front.
rank and file
I
folks,
think she got pretty close.
who are policing,
it might be possible to
are
find
they
out who the Boston
expected
Slide
to
Cop
do
was.
any sort of traffic enforcement during the course of their normal
Yeah, let me.
shift? In terms of visibility, one of the things that folks brought to my attention is, in some municipalities, they'll use empty police vehicles at different locations for periods of time to traffic calm and things like that, for whatever reason they do it. I don't know. You guys are the professionals. And folks were asking me, well, most of the time, I think someone mentioned it tonight, that we visibly
Oh, that's
see
sick. In
law
that episode, she
enforcement
interviews
often
Molly
in
Conger and
details.
Jeff Raymond.
So
Yeah.
is there a visibility
so
plan
sick.
that's a portion of this?
A really good
And
episode.
is the
I like Molly Conger a
empty
lot.
police car,
She has a new podcast
I'm
called
gonna
Weird
call it
Little
Trick,
Guys.
is that
that
something that's
is all about
real? Is that something
Nazi
that
freaks.
folks continue to
Yeah.
use? Is that outdated?
She's
Like,
she's
what
in
is that? I know
Charlotte,
if I
right?
see
That's where she's
one
based.
and
Yeah.
I'm driving, I'm hitting the brakes. But we also know that only lasts temporarily. But is that a real thing, or is that just something that's gone by the wayside through the chair?
Chief Sasia.
Through the chair of council, that is a real thing. I believe they call it a ghost car. Some communities do that when they have limited personnel. They may only have 4 or 5 people on their police department. As far as what we're doing in visibility wise, during the day shift, we have
Christian's
20
last
routes
point
out there.
I have a neighbor
Plus
who's a
additional
state trooper.
detectives and whatnot.
He's been
So
parking
we
his
do have
car
people
to,
driving
like,
around,
take
not
home
all
out on the
fully
street to
marked
like slow down
vehicles.
traffic on our street.
But
And the city
our whole
ticketed him
thing with moving motorcycles is
because
because
he parked up
the
on the
bikes
curb.
can get into
And
those
like
neighborhoods.
neighbors were complaining that they couldn't get by on
I'm
the
sure
curb
you've driven
across
by
the sidewalk.
a police officer on a motorcycle holding
That's
up a
so
LiDAR. That's gonna
That's a victim.
inform a bunch of people they better slow down. So it's a little more of a visibility tactic than just having a cruiser, because people see cruisers all the time. They don't often see a motorcycle.
Okay. Madam Chair, I wanted to make an additional comment regarding sort of the cadence of all of this. And then just in full transparency, on day one, I was not in support of 25 miles per hour. Additional time allowed me to reach out to other municipalities, speak with folks in Boston, speak with folks in Springfield, Lowell, et cetera. And that was helpful for me. Whether or not it was something that dragged on longer than necessary is one thing, but I know a bit of time was important for me, a bit of time. Through the chair, my last question to the administration is related to the statute around the 25 mile per hour change in
Didn't
speed
say
limit,
he's in support of it now.
and the statutory speed limit. I just had a question to the administration. My understanding is that there are some provisions within that statute that allows for flexibility by the council as pertains to it being citywide versus sort of an opt-in to specified streets. And I just want to know if my
I'd be willing to bet he votes
cursory
moving forward.
review of that is accurate. Through the chair, if you could speak to that.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Thank you, through the chair.
He's trying to
the
cut it
statute
from citywide
does,
to opt-in.
Allow the council to either specify it on the 25 mile per hour limit on a citywide basis or on a street by street basis, which is a little bit unusual, to be candid, because the whole idea behind a statutory speed limit is that's a speed limit that exists in the absence of a posted speed limit. And the idea is, when you're a larger city like Worcester with hundreds and hundreds of streets, I think we have 460 some odd miles of streets. It's not practical, and it's frankly just not possible to post speed limits on every street. So the idea is a statutory speed limit in the absence of those posted speed limits applies universally. That being said, when section 17C was written to enable the 25 mile per hour speed limit, they did create the opportunity for a city to opt in on a street by street basis.
Dude,
That,
no.
there are about 7
That's
or
how
8
this is gonna go.
smaller
They're
communities
gonna
that
change it
have
from
done that.
citywide to
Ranges from
street-by-street
just a couple of
basis.
streets in
It's
some
just
towns to, I believe there are 2 or 3 communities that have applied them
No,
to
that's
maybe a
definitely
dozen
what
or a
King's
dozen and a
driving
half
at.
streets. But I think there's a couple of downsides to doing that. One is that
Keep the pressure up.
if we opt in on a street by street basis,
He'll
we can
vote
no
yes
longer
today
use
and then
that
try
perimeter
and rat fuck
signing
it
that I
in the
described.
full
And I
council.
think that's a real adverse impact in terms of communicating to the public what our speed regulations are. The second is just, thinking about trying to roll this out to all of the portions of the city that really merit a 25 mile per hour speed limit when we have 460 miles of streets, and trying to do that on a street by street basis would be extremely time consuming, extremely cumbersome and expensive. And I think that's why you haven't seen it done in the larger communities. And we haven't seen it done on a more widespread basis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, in full transparency, I've evolved from questioning this to feeling as though it should be sort of an opt-in where it's identified street by street for 25 miles per hour, to the point where I am now, where I think this needs to be specified by this committee, that our recommendation isn't simply to adopt 25 miles per hour, but we need to go further and adopt it citywide, Madam Chair. As such, I'd like to make a motion, or perhaps I'll make a motion that we also vote and send a message, and hopefully it's unanimous, that we apply this citywide. And I know that's the recommendation here. And I appreciate Commissioner's description of 17C. I just don't want any surprises as relates to what this particular committee is supportive of. And I want to put it on the record that we can go further, and that we should be implementing this citywide. Now, I agree wholeheartedly that this is not a panacea. It's not going to solve all problems. I don't agree with conflating 25 miles per hour and applying it to every accident that's occurring in the city. That's quite simply not fair and not accurate. That being said, I do think we need to do this citywide, Madam Chair, and not, anything less than that. That would be my motion, Madam Chair. And
You were the only
again,
one
for
who presented that hypothetical.
part of it is, education, because if someone had told me that it was 25 miles per hour in Boston before now, I wouldn't have believed. I had no idea. And a lot of folks don't. So I think the education piece And the visibility piece is hugely impactful. And of course, roll out, Madam Chair. So that would be my motion.
Council Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to be brief because I've been in supportive of this since the beginning, but I do have one question to the administration through the chair. It seems like y'all addressed a lot of the concerns in the report, which is concerns with effectiveness, which, we know that this isn't going to be, the fix it all, and that the travel impact seems like it's going to be very minimal, even though people are worried about congestion and travel time. In regards to increased ticketing, we hear that, there's going to be a grace period and education around this, as well as the cost of implementation, which is we're probably going to have to fix the signage anyways throughout our city. And so I just wanted to know if there was any other concerns from our residents that hasn't been addressed in our 5, district meetings and in this report after the survey.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Through the chair, I think that captures by far and away the bulk of the concerns that have been expressed. I was actually heartened by the survey results to see that people seem to understand in large part or large majority of the people that responded that there weren't going to be significant travel impacts associated with this. I think when we started this process, before we did the multiple hearings and talked about the experiences in other communities and the data, there was sort of a sense or a concern that this would somehow affect congestion or that travel times would increase markedly. And that's, there's a lot of real world data out there that shows that that's not the case. And I think the survey results showed that people understood that. By far and away, the thing that folks were most concerned about is, this wasn't going to be effective on its own or effective enough. And I think we agree with that. We know there are more things we need to do. This is just a start, but it's a fairly easy piece for us to implement and an important one. But we have a lot of work cut out for us. And so I think, we share the concern of the community and in that regard.
Thank you. And I really appreciate the due diligence that your department has done on this as well. And so, my hope is that we move this forward and that we have a unanimous vote on council to support this passing forward. I feel like, when it comes to ending traffic violence, I hope that we don't get paralyzed in trying to end it, right? Like as you mentioned, I do also hear that, this is something that is hovering over so many of us, and that it's going to take so many approaches. And I'm glad that we're moving past paralysis into actually taking action, because the longer we delay it or the longer we're paralyzed, the more people will be hurt by it. And so I just want to take my time to really thank the folks who have been advocating for this. I think y'all have been the ones to really push our council to do, take this action forward. And I know the folks who spoke last time aren't all here, but the folks who have been severely impacted, family members and loved ones who really testified, I think that shifted a lot for so many people on council to know that, this is on us to really make it better for people. And so I just want to thank y'all for advocating and pushing us to this point, as well as thanking the Department of Transportation and Mobility for your work that you've been, really on the ground grinding for this.
They just want everyone's insurance rates to go up.
The police department for your support on making this happen and doing the implementation as well. Thank you.
Councilor Bergman, would you like to make any? You're all set. Just listening. Okay, thank you. Okay, does anybody else have any other comments, questions? Okay, so okay, we already did public comments time. We already did the public comment time. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to, my recommendation, so on 3A, I'm going to recommend approval to accept the provisions of section 17C of chapter 90 of the general laws to establish 25-mile statutory speed limit citywide in thickly settled or business districts, accepting the provisions of section 18B of chapter 90 of the general laws to authorize establishment a speed limit of 20 miles per hour citywide within areas designated by the city council as safety zones, and enact revisions to the city's general revised ordinances to enact the same. Roll call, please.
Counselors King,
Yes.
Nguyen,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Colorio.
Yes. Okay, and in 13B, I'm sorry, 13 and 3B, I'll make a motion to file. Roll call, please.
Counselors King,
Yes.
Nguyen,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Colorio.
Yes. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the meeting. I appreciate everybody that came and testified and my colleagues for being here tonight. And this will go to the floor for a vote on September 10th. Thank you. So roll call for ending the meeting, please.
Counselors King,
Yes.
Nguyen,
Order the
Yes.
and
motion to adjourn.
Chairperson Counselor Colorio.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you, everybody.
right. Wow.
Wow.
Chalk this up. Thank you, everyone who joined us, came together. We all came together. We bullied Donna Colorio.
Mhm.
We bullied the mayor. We bullied all of these counselors. And finally, it worked one time.
For once in our
one
fucking
time.
lives.
One time in our fucking lives, it has worked. This is going to pass on the city council floor. Our only two maybes at this point are George Russell and Mo Bergman, I think.
Right.
Barring any change between now and next week. So that's sick. That's good news. We did one good thing that 80 other communities in Massachusetts have already done. And it took almost a year. So, you know,
We did it.
We can't, I don't think there's any merit in congratulating these people for having acted. No need to congratulate Donna Colorio for changing her mind after 9 months. But we can congratulate ourselves for our reckless cyberbullying and the fact that it worked in this instance.
And that should only encourage us.
Right. We need
do
to
it
keep
more.
cyberbullying the mayor. We need to keep cyberbullying all the city councilors. It works. It is praxis. It is legitimate praxis to cyberbullying. It really fucking works.
It's almost the only thing that does work.
It is the only tool left to us. So we got to make the most of it. We gotta do everything we can. I'm not going to be here for Tuesday for that city council.
Right.
I'm gonna be in Europe, going over there for Katie's birthday. So,
You're gonna miss out.
I know I'm gonna miss out on all the fun.
Well, it'll be. Where are you going in Europe?
Amsterdam, London, and then driving all around Ireland.
Hell.
So,
yeah, it's gonna be fucking sick. It's gonna be such a sick trip.
It'll be between midnight and 3 a.m. So you could just hop on if you like.
You know, I will. That'd be kind of cool, especially if I've had a few pints.
Yes.
I'll hop on for a minute. Yeah, that was cool. I'm just getting a tweet out about it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think keep up the pressure obviously between now and next week, and also next week I think we should be encouraging all of our friends to show up and keep making public comments to them, keep sharing your stories. Post this comment again during the full meeting, because this was one of the best jokes we've had in the comments in a while. So great job on that. So I think this type of stuff is what we want to be doing. But yeah, I think like you said, I think it should pass, barring any shenanigans. But we shouldn't let up.
No, keep the pressure on.
Yeah.
Let's see this through to the end.
Yeah.
I think it was very interesting and telling that Donna Colorio came right out and said, I'm going to be in support of this. Because if she hadn't done that, I think we might have kind of seen Christian King make a motion that we do it street by street,
right,
instead of citywide, which is still in play. At least the attempt to do that on next Tuesday is still in play by someone like Mo Bergman, and could just be used as grounds to justify delaying it another meeting, but it's going to pass by at least 8-3.
Right.
So
do we think that somebody holds it?
I think that somebody for sure definitely holds it.
Which in that case, all the more reason for people to be there in the room.
It's just it just gives another. See, this is how we got to
hammer
learn them. Even if they hold it, we got to cyberbully them because they're gonna start eventually learning, like dogs do, that if you hold it, that means you're getting cyberbullied twice. Whereas if you just take the vote, you're getting cyberbullied once.
Right.
So,
Eric, it's a new item now that it's coming from this subcommittee. This is a new item. Before it was just bringing this to the subcommittee or the standing committee. So I think yeah, there shouldn't be any. They shouldn't have any issue with holding it.
they can certainly hold it. And someone like Mo Bergman, who operates almost exclusively out of spite, I think would do. But that puts him in the position of being like obvious bad guy of the week. So I think that's fine if he does that. Bring it on. Anyway, I got a fun thing for us to look at before we go. Everyone down to hang out for a little while longer?
Hell yeah, we got a segment we'd like to do.
Yes. I'm gonna open this segment just going right into the best one, the funniest one.
So the city has put out a contest to design to put up designs for the I voted sticker for this November. And they took submissions, and I think yesterday to coincide with the primary, they posted what the finalists are or what the options are, what they received.
Yes, I'll explain. I just need to log into my Facebook.
Yeah.
They posted all of the options for the I voted stickers that will be coming out in November, presumably.
Yeah.
And the way that you vote is you like or share it on Facebook. It's a very, very informal and frankly stupid way of voting. But friend of the stream, friend of my newsletter, Greg Opperman, has a really cool one on that everyone should vote for. But before we do that, we want to show you the worst one
ever.
I'm really excited to put this up. All right, here we go.
This is Walter Burr Jr.'s I voted sticker. Our My There vote counts your 2024. Our My There vote counts your 2024.
Our My There vote counts your 2024.
Our My There vote counts your 2024. Almost unreadable against the stock image background of Worcester.
Our My Their vote counts your 2024.
Our My vote counts your 2024. Our My There? What the?
Can we get a Travis? Can we get an our My There? Jose Rivera, your for City Council 2026 or whatever the hell it is. 2025.
Walter, of course, liked it himself.
Obviously, yeah. And
Our My There vote counts your 2024.
Walter and the two Russian bots that he communicates with on Facebook liked this post.
So now if we go to view the post, we'll just flip through.
Adorable.
Yeah. 10 that has 10 likes, 7 shares, so that one's in the running. This one's cool. It's fine. Yeah. The astronaut helmet is pretty cool. I like that. Eamon Gillen. These are cool.
Oh,
I like
this
them.
is a fucking ringer. We're getting ringers in here now.
Yeah, right. You shouldn't. If you're a professional artist, you shouldn't be able to do this.
And you know what? I'm not going to vote for him because I wouldn't put his art on my body. If you fucking paid me.
Well,
Eamon's gonna be offering those as flash on election day for any of you who really like these designs.
Do tattoo
Eamon, don't listen to me. I would put your art on my body.
I have 4 Eamon tattoos.
This one's pretty cool. Let me see if I can
this.
Zoom in. If I use this button here. This is actually very nice. Very nice. Yep. That's great. Now zoom out here, and this is from Glenda Soto. It's fine.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, that's getting a like from me.
Yeah, that's
Moving
pretty
into
sick.
Brat Fall.
Right? Hey, did you guys see that NATO put out a brat thing like this that just said
No.
peace?
Oh no.
And I was like, we're all gonna die, right?
No.
And then these are okay. Sure.
Yep.
Fine.
1776 for me.
Little,
John.
yeah.
You know, love you, John, but
Yeah.
little these colors don't run for me.
Yeah. Like it or leave it kind of vibe. Hey, come on.
Here we go.
There we go.
There we go.
In all the different languages, we got a little puppy with a little adorable hat on. What's not to love?
Yeah.
What's not to love? This one ahead in the leader polls already.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's just, dogs.
Yeah.
Can't beat
That,
it.
me taking one of those stickers and then insisting that my dog's allowed to vote.
Yep. Kate McGrath, these ones are okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. And then here we go. This one is from Greg Opperman, and it is sick.
Yeah.
Got little
that's
turtle
really good.
turtle boy with the ballot in his mouth.
And there's me taking one of these stickers and then insisting my turtle can vote.
Yep. Yeah. I have a turtle. I will take the
See?
turtle to vote. Like I said in one of my last newsletter posts, the only thing unique about the city is the rate of naked boy plus animal statues per capita. This is the defining feature of our city to the vote at large, and I like it. I'm gonna smash the like right there.
Yes.
And give it a share. Little bit of nepotism. Kimberly Hune, that's pretty cool.
Love the font.
I like the nice font. Yeah, a pleasant font.
Textured background.
This one's a little.
I think what Mia needed to do was make the everything fall kind of diagonally, like shift each line, so that it's diagonal to get around the, off-centeredness of it. But
it has kind of like a Splinter Cell 24 type vibe.
Yeah.
I do like the font. Yeah. That's it disturbs me just enough that now I want to go out and vote.
Like a Black Mirror episode.
Right. Yes. Very Black Mirror. That's what I was.
It's throwing me off kilter a little. Oh.
This one's weird.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Points for weirdness, honestly.
Yeah. I really like it.
It's growing on me.
It's like a B-52s video.
It's growing on me big time. Use your voice. Man, that's disturbing. I like it. These ones are cute.
Yeah.
No notes.
Yeah. I will say, if you go back to that last one, sorry, that is Union Station, not City Hall. Just saying.
Right. No one goes to Union Station.
Yeah. But anyway,
so
still good.
Yeah, still fine. This one, next one, has no Worcester connection that I can discern, but whoa. All right.
Winning is 100% winning.
Yeah. Pretty sick.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking sick.
I want the sunglasses one bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a winner in my book right there.
Yeah,
that is a cool
rips,
cat,
dude.
That is a cool cat.
Meow.
I am not a crook. I am not a kitty.
And again, me taking one of these stickers, insisting my cat's allowed to vote. This is going to be a lot of trips to the voting to the voting booth for me.
Watch this. Ready? Classic Democrat behavior. I'm voting twice.
Oh yeah. And people don't know you're dead, actually.
Right.
Wow, this is a little controversial to me. Oh, I think you have to hit the button below it. Go down. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I thought it was saying you couldn't share it, and I was gonna get.
I know this button doesn't work, but this one does. So who knows? Oh, and there it is again.
Eh.
How am I there?
Yeah.
Vote counts your 2020.
Can you unlike something? Can you take away a like from something? You should be able to do that. You should be able to counteract a like. Report it. Report it. Inappropriate.
I want to see this over again.
Everybody that's still on Facebook, go report that photo.
This one is a.
This is
would be-
better.
This one is a lateral move from the current sticker, but much better than Walter's.
Yeah.
Kind of. Although I will say, like, why did you even bother enter the competition with this? I'm sorry, Wendy, if you're listening.
I'm a big fan of it. I'm gonna go give it a like.
It makes me think of Cylons, and Cylons are not what I think about when I vote.
Well, maybe when you
That's a
just
me
change your
problem,
mind. Yeah.
This one's pretty cool, I guess.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
It has like a gives me like a Rise of Nations, Age of Empires kind of vibe.
It would. I will just say, it would take Worcester out of the margins of the sticker and would not be on as part of the sticker. But,
which is good. I think.
Yeah,
that
I think
we
yeah,
should-
because Worcester's different. It's different than everywhere else.
Right. And the subtle implication here is that we should annex ourselves from the United States, which I am in support of.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. This one's fine.
Yeah.
No notes. Pretty cool. I like this one.
That is great.
Yeah. Ooh, these ones are a little tasteful.
Ooh, that top left. I like that.
These ones are very tasteful. My voice matters. My voice counts. My voice matters. My voice counts. That's great. I like this one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
When you lay it out like that, you could almost convince someone that we have a skyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impossible to get those things in a row, but yes, I agree. There's not an angle you can shoot that from where those things are in line with each other and that height against each other.
there is literally none.
But it's possible.
Walter Bird got close though. I will say that.
It's true.
And then we're back to this one, little kid. You know what?
I love it.
I'll give it a like. I'll give it a like. Cool. So let me grab the link and throw this into the chat. Everyone vote for your stickers and report Walter Bird's for I don't want to see this. So it gets downranked in the algorithm.
It gets they have to delete it to keep the post up.
God, Walters is so funny. All right, one more time. I wish you could see them in a grid. Am I missing a way to do this?
Probably not on desktop. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, cats for sure, I think is.
Our My There vote counts your 2024.
Can you still submit? I wonder if can we still submit? I'd like to maybe we can get Travis to make some real fucked up ones.
So right here it says
yeah. It's just voting, not creating.
I think that the submissions are closed.
Damn.
It's too bad.
Next
And
time.
interesting here, they don't say this is a very informal competition, I will say. You know what? Honestly, what if we like spam liked Walters so that the city had to print them? is another way to go.
Different approach to
you know what
wasting
though, but
coupons.
yeah, I would say if there was a chance that he wouldn't take that as a win, then we should do it. But he absolutely will think that he rocks because of that, and in that way, we should not do it.
Right, but what if it is so strikingly bad on the face of it that when that hits the general public that's unaware of this contest,
right?
And then they're like, what idiot designed these new I voted stickers? They're awful garbage. But that might be a little bit too that's a little bit too much 4D chess for this.
Yeah. Again, that's too smart for him.
That's a little bit too much 4D chess. But anyway,
he works for the housing authority still.
I think so. Yeah. And he has Sky High Media Services.
Right. If you need a media services or a ride to the polls, just call Sky High.
Yeah. If you need somebody who doesn't know how to take a screenshot of a press release in anything higher than 330 resolution, call Walter Bird. He'll make you a sticker. But yeah, Travis should have had one in here, but he just blew it, I guess.
He's got real work.
That's true. That is true. That
Next
is
time.
true. Yeah.
We have to do it next time.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else going on?
No.
What else we got?
Nothing that I can think of. Nothing that I can't wait till next week.
Yeah.
I got a new Buc-ee's hat.
Oh, I couldn't see the Buc-ee's. You were too far away. That's sick.
Yep. We're proud of this one.
I'm sure the Texas Buc-ee's are sort of like Champagne from the Champagne region of France.
It's interesting, Bill. Like one of them is so small, like you almost feel bad calling it a Buc-ee's. It's like some of them are like the older ones. They're just like it's just there. It's like in the middle of a small town. But I'm a big fan of the one down in Bastrop that heading into Austin. That's the one that's been closest to overwhelming for me. And there's one in Tennessee I've gone to now twice. That is just mind blowing.
Is that must be the new one?
Yeah, it's like an oasis. Just that's really the first one that you really see on that route. And
it's Pride Chamber. Has notified us once again. It is Worcester going their own way. Doing Pride.
Yeah, Worcester does Pride. Are there any events coming up for Pride?
I've seen a bunch scrolling Facebook. Chamber, any recs that people should check out?
Oh, sorry.
Bill's got an old timey cough. Sneeze.
That was a sneeze, you idiot.
I was trying to say sneeze, but I have old timey brain problems.
Cool.
There we go. Keep an eye out for those. Bill, you're gonna be back for the last start on the street?
Oh no, I won't be. No, I'm gonna miss it.
You're gonna miss out.
That's all right. I'll be around for the first wart.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah, we're taking it back.
Worcester artists really trying.
Sick. Literally, and there's a ride as part of that as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of good stuff coming up. The weather's turning. It's a nice time to be out and about in the city. But thanks everybody for tuning in, for watching with us, for commenting, calling in, showing up in person. Do it again next week. Send them emails, send them messages, bully this entire city council.
Cyberbullying works, everybody.
It does. It's the only thing that works. And cyberbully us if you want. It could help us become better.
Yeah.
Nothing else has worked, so something
I
else
like
new.
so.
So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday, everybody.
See you next
Goodbye.
Tuesday.
We love you. Bye.